Wow, is the sky bluer these days, or what?
Hello, welcome to our channel. We're all about sharing our adventures and experiences around our homestead and off-grid cabin here on our 40 acres in the wilderness of Ontario, Canada.
We enjoy life around the cabin, exploring, canoeing, hiking, campfire cooking, gardening, and sharing our love of nature.
If you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing and click the little notification bell so you won't miss anything. Right here on Cabin Life with Glenn and Maureen.
Hi.
Hi! Pretty nice out there, eh?
It is.
Yeah, beautiful spring day. So I'm just going through some of our prep stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and seeing what else we need. Because, at the beginning of all this, we started looking at 3 weeks of preparation. But, we should really be looking at having 3 months worth of stuff stocked.
Well, we were aiming for 3 weeks to a month at that time. There was a lot of panic buying and whatnot that was going on. So, but since that time, since the beginning of March, we've been doing some rethinking. And because some of the dates and whatnot have been pushed back, and it looks like we're looking into summertime now for a lot of this stuff. Who knows? It maybe even could go longer. So if it doesn't go longer, but we're prepared for it to go longer, then we're still okay. If we're not prepared for it to go longer and it does go longer, then it could be, there's a lot of challenges that could be ahead. So what we've been thinking of doing is increasing our supplies and looking for more of a long-term outlook.
Yeah. And not just long-term. There's also, with some of the concerns in the news, you're talking about the meat suppliers and the migrant workers and the concerns and the challenges that they're having with those, that even in the short term, over the next couple of months, there could be shortages in food because the workers aren't available. Mm-hmm. So that's a big concern too.
Mm-hmm. And they are trying to get the workforce back as soon as possible. But there's going to be certain things that take a while to ramp the production lines back up, right?
That's it.
And the supply chain to be able to reach the end consumer. So
we've been looking at increasing our garden size. We're working on that.
We're thinking that it could be more of a long-term situation, and we would like to find ourselves prepared in the event that there are certain shortages. And we'd like to research a little bit more the possibility and the practicalities of raising some chickens for both eggs and meat, and rabbits for meat, as well as for the garden uses. Their manure is really good.
Manure, yeah.
You can use it right away, right into the garden, without having to compost it or anything. So that'd be the way to go, I think. But we are researching into that. So
yeah, because we don't want to run out and just buy chickens and rabbits and then start learning how to take care of them.
No, it's a big commitment, and we want to make sure that that we're doing the right thing and that we can manage things properly and whatnot. So we're just going to make sure it's a good fit for us and for our lifestyle and what we want to do. And I'm thinking maybe that'll be the direction we end up going, though.
I think so. And there's other things we're considering too, is looking more into canning. Like, we've done canning in the past, but more variety of vegetables and fruits. And we're also looking at a freezer. We had a freezer a few years ago, but then we decided to downsize. We thought, well, we don't really need it the way that we were using it before. We decided to give that up. Everything needs to have its priority to be in the house. So we're rethinking, would it be better for freezer, for long-term storage, or canning? And as far as like with meat and with your fruits and vegetables, which one's more nutritious and which one is truly more long-term?
And we want it to be more independent from the grid. So that was one of the reasons why we decided, well, we'll forego the freezer, and it's just one less dependence to worry about having to power up and maintain and keep things cold in order to preserve the foods. But I suppose, like in an off-grid situation, hey, you could have a freezer and you could fire it up once a day, keep the lid closed, and keep things cold that way. But got to weigh one thing over the other as far as is that a good way to go versus the long-term canning where you don't have to have any freezing done whatsoever. You just need the space for the goods. So
yeah, that's another learning curve for us is the canning of meat, because we've canned fruits and vegetables, but we want to make sure that if we're canning meats that we do it correctly so that it's done safely.
So overall, we're looking at things that we can do within our own control that are doable, where we can replace the dependence that we have on our sources of especially our food, and try to replace that with something that we can do on our own and develop on our own. And even if it's just a little bit at a time, like for instance this year, one of our goals was to double our production of our sugar for the year, and so we produced enough maple syrup that we believe that'll last us for the full year, which is great, right through until next maple syrup season. So we've got our sugar looked after, and we've got a lot of supplies that you've purchased ahead, your flour and oats and beans and rice and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we're good for dry goods, and there's still some stuff we need to get, but we're doing pretty good. And we'll be foraging more in the forest too for our food, especially the fruit. The raspberries, wild strawberries, the black raspberries. There was a lot of those last year, and we just have to be a little bit more vigilant to get them before the little critters get them.
And there's that apple tree.
Yeah.
Way back down the logging trail. There's an apple tree. In fact, I think we showed it on episode 101 of our wilderness excursions. And we're going to venture back to that apple tree. And is it too late to get a cutting?
No, we're probably right now is the time to go. They say early in the spring. So, yeah, I guess we're on the tipping point of early spring.
Go get some cuttings and see what we can do with the apple tree.
Yeah. Our researching how to grow apples up in our area, they said the best way you do is to actually prune and root branches from a well-established tree as opposed to trying to grow from seeds, because we'll harvest fruit sooner with the cuttings than we would with the actual seed.
I would think they'd be more hardy.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see an apple tree up in our zone, because that's really rare to see such a large fruit tree up in zone 4B. It's usually too cold for apples.
Hey, Jake. Make a pie.
Yeah, about 20% of our food supply is perishables. The leafy greens, vegetables, fruits, and meats. So we're looking towards replacing them with what we can provide from the homestead, or buying from the farmer's market in season and canning or preserving them. And also I wanted to learn more about microgreens so that we can grow microgreens through the winter and get prepared for that, so that by the time our garden is completed in the fall, we have microgreens up and running in the house, right?
Yep. And along with the meat rabbits and chickens, I'd actually like to look into hunting small game.
Yeah.
And like wild turkeys. Mind you, they're kind of rare around here. I think most of them moved down south, or most of them are down south now by the Huntsville and Muskoka type area, where you can get that kind of game. But it is something that I would like to look into. Ducks and there's lots of wild game around here, so might as well take advantage of that too if we can.
Absolutely, I would love to have some wild game on my table, some fish too.
Absolutely. We're surrounded by lots of lakes and rivers, so the fishing is pretty good around here. And it's just a matter of being in the right spot at the right time with the right bait. So
that's true.
And hopefully then it's not about the fishing, it's about the catching.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I like fishing too on a nice hot day with a nice cool drink, but I like to eat.
Son used to say to me, "Dad, you want to go fishing?" I said, "Nah, let's go catching."
That's so true. Yeah, so we'll be beefing up our perishables, and I want to learn some more a variety of recipes, like sourdough bread. I would really like to get a sourdough culture going. You'll be seeing that in one of our future videos. It takes a while to get the culture going, so it won't be right away. And learning some recipes for sourdough bread and whatever else can be made with sourdough, and different flours too, wheat or rye or different types. So that's going to be
all about becoming more self-sufficient as much as possible, developing it step by step, and doing a little bit more is better than doing nothing. So,
yeah. And one important thing is make sure you do something that you'd like. Like, that's why I want to research some recipes now, because I don't want to put ingredients away thinking, well, this type of bean or this or that, it looks like a good idea. Get all the ingredients and then don't use them until we need them later. I want to learn recipes now so that I know that we're going to like them.
Mm-hmm. So we'll keep you posted and updated as we develop our plan and put it into action in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time. That's all for now. I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen.
Over and out.
Take care.
Jake, want to go back out? You do? All right.